Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinx.
Make it louder. Good morning, Dr. Abati. How are you?
I'm good.
Great. Good morning. How are you?
I love your spontaneous giggle.
I have
to.
It's impossible not to giggle. Good morning, Rufai.
Oji always shining. Oji, somebody saw me yesterday and said, Oji is a purveyor of wawulens.
Oh, wow. That's the first
I know you are cooking one again today.
No, I hope there will be no violence today.
There's a lot. She's cooked it. You come in peace.
Come in peace. As always.
You know when people say that they don't have peace in their mind?
Okay, let's see. Well, all right. Good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United Kingdom, former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, in a new BBC documentary, alleged that Russian President Vladimir Putin threatened him with a missile strike in an extraordinary phone call in the run-up to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Putin allegedly told Johnson that it will only take a minute. Johnson also said the comment was made after he warned that the war will be an utter catastrophe.
So he threatened me at one point and said, you know, Boris, I don't want to hurt you, but with a missile it would only take a minute or something like that, you know.
In Pakistan, at least 59 people lost their lives on Monday after a bomb that was apparently targeted at policemen praying in a mosque in Peshawar exploded. The country's Prime Minister, Shahbaz Sharif, said the terrorist aim was to create fear by targeting those who perform the duty of defending the country. In Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari commissioned 9 projects in the northern state of Kano on Monday, including a bridge named after him. The president, among other projects, commissioned the 10-megawatt Kano solar power project funded by the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority with the sum of $16 million. The president's visit was, however, marred by some young residents in the state who threw stones at his convoy, allegedly owing to the overwhelming hardship they've experienced with the CBN's cashless policy and the newly redesigned currency. Under sports, the International Olympic Committee on Monday rejected fierce criticism from Ukrainian officials who have accused it of promoting war after the body said Russians could potentially be given the opportunity to qualify for the 2024 Paris Olympics. Ukrainian officials say that Russian presence at the Games will constitute giving the country a platform to promote genocide. President Volodymyr Zelensky, in his nightly video address, pledged to protect sports structures and the international Olympic movement from being discredited through the efforts of sports bureaucrats.
Another banger, baby, calm down, calm down. Yo, this your body, put in my heart for lockdown.
Finally, under entertainment, the visuals for Calm Down by Nigerian Afrobeat star Divine Kubo, who goes by the stage name Rema, has become the most viewed Nigerian music video on streaming platform YouTube with over 356 million views. Calm Down surpassed the record set by CK's Love Nwantinte remix. Released in February 2020, the 22-year-old star, who has won several awards and recognitions in February 2022, released the video for the hit song with American singer Selena Gomez, which has garnered over 260 million views on the streaming platform.
Baby, calm down, calm down. Yo, this your body, put in my heart for lockdown, for lockdown.
Congratulations, Rema. This is one of my favorite songs, really. All right, let's begin what's trending. The spat between the presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party and the All Progressives Congress continues to brew on Monday. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the APC flag bearer, during the party's rally in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital, said he rescued Atiku Abubakar from Nigeria's former president Olusegun Obasanjo, who he said wanted to roast Atiku like goat meat before he ran away to Dubai. But then when it was time for the election, Atiku returned to the country. Tinubu also boasted of making Atiku Abubakar Nigeria's Senate president and said the PDP has no mandate Let's listen in before we take some reactions.
They have no mandate. What they have now ice cream. It melt quick. You get me? They are yeye people. Atiku, when we make him Senate president, Abba, you sell this, you sell that, assets, our commonwealth, our patrimony, everything that we have, we sell them, we become skeleton. Atiku no care.
As vice president.
As vice president.
Dr. Bati, over to you. Well, this has generated a lot of reactions. Should I take a reaction before I come to you?
Okay.
Should I do that? All right. Well, Olalaye wrote, Tinubu commits yet another blunder. He said, when we made Atiku Senate president, number one, Atiku was never the Senate president. Number two, at what point was Tinubu part of any process that made Atiku the vice president of Nigeria? Red flag. Well, if we make Tinubu president, the cabal will be more in charge than ever. Dr. Bati?
Well, I mean, I saw this on social media.
Yeah.
You know, many persons have commented on it, and I think the point has been made out there that Atiku Abubakar was never Senate president. He was vice president. And in any case, at the time that Atiku Abubakar was vice president, he and Atiku Abubakar were not in the same political party. So even if what he meant was vice president, you know, he was not in a position to make him vice president. But he said Senate president. And that's why people are, you know, a bit scandalized. And then he went further also. I saw another report saying, he was saying they scored F1. I don't know. The time I took a school start, although F9 was too far away from me, there was no way I could have moved in that direction. What I had was F9 that other people were getting. So, I mean, that again, you know, will be considered ridiculous by people who are very familiar with F9, that category of grading in WASC, you know. So, but in any case, the funny part of it is that he made a third point that Obasanjo wanted to roast Atiku Abubakar like goat meat. I know a lot about President Obasanjo, but I'm not aware that suya is part of his, you know, preferred delicacies. You know, because it's people who like suya who roast goat meat. However,
yes,
there has been a very robust response from the PDP. A statement by Frank Shaibu, which I thought was rather aggressive and irreverent. You know, Frank Shaibu was on this program, and I told him that, look, the kind of verbal violence that oozes out of his pen is a bit, you know, on the extreme side. He was advising Nigerians that they should be careful, that a presidential candidate who does not even know a person's antecedents, his opponent's antecedents, or the difference between F9 and F1, should not be allowed to go and turn Aso Villa into a sanatorium or a mental health institution. And I thought that was a bit on the irreverent side, you know. So even when the PDP spokespersons are responding to this, you know, they should moderate, you know, their speech in line with the provisions of the law. In fact, Frank Shaibu even counted the number of girls. He said there have been 12 so far from Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I don't think
I've taken up to 12.
Well, that's what Frank Shaibu said in his statement. Yeah. But all of this, you know, constitute distractions. But he made a point about the health of whoever wants to be president of Nigeria, so that we don't, according to him, I'm just quoting the response from PDP, that we don't send Mr. Sabinos to go and represent us at United Nations or clean that drunk to, you know, the United Nations. But all of that, you know, now that we're just about 24 days to the election, can we, you know, focus more on the issues.
I'll take Frank Shaibu's point there. We need a president who can represent us globally.
Yes. I mean, we need, and that's why we also need a president that we know his health records. Because a lot has happened in this country. And let's not forget that. A lot has happened in this country. I was having a sit down yesterday, and the person was taking me through the Yaradua days. You know, we can't afford to go through days like that any longer. We all saw what happened. Even when we had this administration, we all saw what happened. A president lived the country for over 100 days. Again, that's why I say political candidates should release their health records. In all fairness to him, yes, he said he was going to empower people in Akwa Ibom, that they should see the things he has done in Lagos, you know, that he pretty much made Lagos and all of that, which a lot of people have argued and tackled and said, you know what, no, Lagos has been a British Crown colony for so many years, you know, since the 1800s. In fact, in 1863, you had ordinances set up by the British colonial government then, you know, to map out streets on the island as we speak today. So Lagos had been many years ago. So he said he had done, you know, the Lekki Seaport, he had done rail, and here, you know, all the political stuff. And he said he would give prosperity. He said he did the Lekki Seaport. And he will also do seaport for them. Then now to the gaffes. Let's not deceive ourselves. These gaffes are becoming unbearable. In the space of a week or two, Atiku Abubakar has assumed two different personalities. At first, I'm not sure you took that story. He first called Atiku Abubakar the governor of Anambra State.
I think, no, that actually was not correct. That was an edited video. It wasn't correct.
Okay.
Yes. So
it was, okay, it was not correct.
Correct.
Okay.
I had to research. And
yeah, you had to research that. Good for correcting me. Yeah. But that video also circulated, you know. Secondly, the constant gaffes, now calling Atiku Abubakar the Senate president, before he was corrected. Also, the misalignment of historical evidence and facts. Like Dr. Abati pointed, they were both in opposing party. He was in the Alliance for Democracy, and Atiku Abubakar was in the PDP. Then leading up to now saying, oh, they did a lot together and all of that. Yeah, they might have had political alliances, give it to them. But misrepresentation of history, claiming ownership for things that obviously you'll know that wasn't done, and all the gaffes, these are becoming one too many. And I just hope the Nigerian people are introspecting and looking deeply, and the candidates too will be good enough to share their medical records.
Absolutely.
Because this country can afford not to go through the Yaradua years any longer.
All right then. Let's take another story. The Central Bank of Nigeria's cashless policy and the redesigned currency continues to generate mixed reactions despite the extension of the deadline for the swap of the old naira notes for new ones at commercial banks by 10 days. Many have expressed concerns at the long queues at ATM locations across the country. Videos showing Nigerians waiting at ATMs have flooded social media. Frustrated ATM users were even seen fighting just to get their hands on the new currency. While other videos showing Nigerians spraying the new notes at events have also elicited several reactions on social media.
All my guys are ballers, all my girls are coming. All my guys are ballers, I know the girls are coming. It's your body, Nakila, and if I touch her felony, baby girl is a diva, and if I touch her felony, wow, you don't know me, W-A-N-D-E, cool. That's how I roll. For the girls, them I come to my show. Batman, you don't know me. W-A-N-D-E. Cool. That's how I roll. For the girls, them I come to my show. I don't want no enemy. I don't want no yawa. of them call the power out. They want tip my energy.
Well, more reactions show the deadline for the return of the old currency, with Nigerians in the diaspora voicing their concern. Sports journalist Colin Udo wrote on Twitter, "I have some old naira notes with me. So far, I haven't seen or heard of any plans by the central bank for folks in the diaspora with old naira notes to exchange theirs. Am I missing something?" He tagged the chairman of Nigerians in the diaspora, Abike Dabiri. Well, in response, Abike wrote, "Do Nigerians in diaspora keep or spend naira notes abroad? Am I missing something?" Well, Twitter users responded to Abike. Bliss wrote, "Read to comprehend. I always carry naira notes too, cause I hate changing money at the airport. I currently have 50,000 naira that will just go to waste. And I know people who have way more. It's just not sensible that we weren't considered, and time frame was short." Uncle Shola wrote, "You are totally disconnected from the country you claim to be serving, and you only ever defend your meal ticket on this timeline. Every Nigerian who is not government-sponsored, like you, coming from abroad, carries a decent amount of naira to get through your airport in peace." Ayo.
So many things to say. First of all, going back to the first video, that was actually very provocative. It's provoking to Nigerians who are on the queue, on the ATM, going back to the initial video you showed, where they are fighting to get the naira note, and then you see people who have access because of perhaps status or wealth, who have access to this money and are able to just spray it flagrantly. First of all, like Dr. Batia mentioned, it is illegal. And it's, as we often say, there are laws in this land. The challenge is effecting these laws. And so the first thing I would want to say is that we see the faces, we see the pictures, we see the people. We probably can investigate the event center. Can we fish them out and actually make them examples so that people are a bit more afraid to look at that? People spending on this thing that people are fighting for, crying for, is what people are here throwing on the floor and just partying with. Yesterday when I went out, I saw POS agents, most of them, they weren't operating. Why? They didn't have money. They didn't have access. So you're depriving people of their daily livelihood because they can't, that's how they earn money. And they couldn't make money. They are far-reaching, impacts of this scarcity of notes. And so there should be examples made of these people. We want a redesigning, the VP had come out to say that it was important for the country. But if it's scarce, then there's no point. So these are some of the things that, we have great policies, we have good ideas, but unfortunately the implementation is just flawed.
Absolutely.
And then just let me speak very quickly to Honorable Abike Dabiri and the fact that this is what the people have said about government officials again and again. This disconnect with the people. And it was so obvious in the way she responded. You have to remember that her position and her office is to represent Nigerians living in diaspora. So every time there's a policy that comes in, her first thinking should be, how does this impact my constituents? Unfortunately, again and again, she hasn't proven to, she hasn't demonstrated that in many instances, and that's quite unfortunate.
You're absolutely right, Ayo. That is the conversation right now amongst many Nigerians in the diaspora about the chairman, Abike Dabiri. Dr. Bate, I'd like your comment with regards to Nigerians living in the diaspora, their concern about whether or not their money will go to waste. I read a comment from a woman who said that she found money, when they changed the currency in London, she found money in her mother's purse and she was able to go deposit the money, because there was no deadline. We do have great policies. How do we implement them?
Okay, with regard to Nigerians in diaspora, they are still part of the Nigerian community, particularly those of them who, even if they have dual nationality, as the Nigerian law, permits, still have their hearts here. And so their interest is very important.
Yes.
And that's why people have been talking about diaspora. That's why, we say they have a say in, what goes on. As for the currency, well, those of us that are in Nigeria, we can't even get the new notes. We can't change money. So we are all in this together. But the issue that some people have pointed out, is that perhaps, if you live abroad, anywhere in the world, Can you DHL the money back home and get someone to help you save it to your account? Because there are many people who live abroad who have, you know, bank accounts back here at home. Is there a way around it? I don't know what the rules say, whether you can DHL, you know, or carry money by through courier services. That's that about that. But as for their interest, yes, you know, some concern should be shown. Now, as for those people spraying the new notes, isn't that the way we are in Nigeria? I think I've said it again and again on this program. That Section 21 of the CBN Act of 2007 makes it an offense for you to abuse the naira, to step on it, to hold it in a criminal manner, or to even do naira plunking. But as we have seen, the problem with that is that culture. People will tell you that our culture permits people to spray money, to do what they like with the naira, to abuse it because it's a cultural thing. Okay, so is Section 21 of the CBN Act therefore a dead law? Because, you know, the law is made for citizens. If they reject it, if they don't implement it, then the law is technically dead. So that's the issue with regard to that. But in any case, those people fighting at ATM spots, it's not only at the ATM machines that you have issue. Yesterday, I had reports that people went to banking halls to fight. In fact, some banks were using POS because they were saying that they don't have new notes. But the CBN governor had made it clear that persons holding the notes, refusing to give out the new notes, that the CBN has trackers and a combined team of CBN, EFCC, DSS, ICPC will go around and arrest such people, including bank managers.
Absolutely.
And yesterday, there was a report that the DSS arrested some people. They should arrest more.
Absolutely.
Because, have you even seen the new notes?
Finally, yes.
And
I paid premium at POS for it.
Oh, yeah. And that is another thing that people are talking about.
Selling the notes.
About how to even incentivize these people. Instead of increasing the amount of money, why don't you just say, okay, go and get your notes, but we wouldn't charge you just for this period to make things easier. Rufai.
I mean, it's just reflective. You talked about culture, Dr. Abati, but you know, like they say, culture will eat strategy for breakfast. It is just a very terrible culture we have learned. Also, we have learned the culture not to be able to punish people when they err. So you are saying, Ayo, we know the event center, we know things, but if you investigate, they will probably be the sons and daughters of one rich man somewhere. And you will not be able to investigate them. And that's the sad reality of things. So that's the kind of culture we've built in our country, and that's why things don't work, and that's why banks now are selling money to people. You can get money for parties. DSS arrested some people recently saying that they were conniving with bank staff. So you see, we've built this pervasive culture, just like the culture of godfatherism, just like the culture of agberoism, just like other isms and culture we've built in our society.
Absolutely.
So the day we are ready to change, because you can also change culture, the better Nigeria will become. But as long as it benefits a couple of people.
All right.
Okay, we have to go now.
Well, thank you all for your great analysis, as always. Oh, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. See you all tomorrow.